is a book called Murphy's Laws. It's a series of books. If some of you are shaking your heads, I guarantee you're 40 plus. And those were the time when this used to rule the roost, as they say. And so the basic premise of Murphy's Law is, if anything can go wrong, it will. Okay. And they did tremendous corollaries to those laws. And each corollary is dead on right. The corollary of Murphy's Law says that if you have a peanut butter sandwich in your hand, okay, this is exactly the corollary, and an oops moment happens, and it drops down, the probability that the peanut butter side of the sandwich will hit the floor is directly proportional to the cost of dry cleaning your carpet. You see? More expensive it is to dry clean the carpet, 100% peanut butter side only will fall down. I can see a lot of nodding here. And then I used to think, my goodness, Murphy is incredible. Murphy works both in Chennai and Chicago. Universal Murphy's Laws. And the basic premise is, if anything can go wrong, it will. And it has a lot of things, and some of which you can agree. If you come early to office, your boss comes late. And if you very rarely come to office late, generally the boss who comes late is on time that day. Murphy's Law. And Walmart Murphy's Law will tell you. The other line moves faster. Have you ever seen that? That's Murphy's Law. And I used to think a lot about how come Murphy's Law work. Generally, probabilities you'd say at least 50-50 should be there. Something go wrong, something can go wrong, not go wrong, etc. Murphy's Laws work because of an anthropological principle. So suppose there is a Neanderthal man, okay, in a cave, opens his eyes in the middle of the night and he sees two bright spots in the mouth of the cave. Would he say, wow, two bright new stars in the horizon possibly? Or would he shout, leopard, wake up and run? You see, guess that Neanderthal man chose to actually look at it in a very negative standpoint. And guess what? That's why we are all here, it seems. If it had been a very naive optimist alone, with a very insecure environment, we wouldn't have survived. So he always went for the negative perspective, or he always imagined the worst, and so we survived. And they say, as the man evolved, human evolved, imagining the worst remained with us, even though we live in a relatively secure society. And this thought that registering the negatives carefully followed us, it seems, to this day, when we don't need to really do that to that extent, but it is sort of ingrained and embedded in us to register the negative. Since I don't register positives and I generally carefully register negatives, Murphy's Law rocks actually. And how do I reverse it? How I reverse it is, there is this principle or extension of a principle. Generally, this neurologist and the eye specialist, they say, there is a principle called reticular activation system, it seems. They call it RAS. RAS, reticular activation system. This RAS is the one which makes you wake up and all that stuff. Jakrat. From your swapnam to Jakrat state, whatever principle takes you to waking up and start noticing. But then most of the time, even when we are awake, we are half asleep, which means I don't register a lot of things even when I'm awake. What makes me to activate this system of registering through my eyes is what is called as intention. You see, when you have an intention, not an unconscious or subconscious, non-deliberate, default, embedded intention. If we can somehow deliberately have an intention, then the way we look changes, it seems. Our intention filters what we see. And we don't need physiologists to tell us that. It's our experience. And the common experience I've heard from many of you when I do programs for corporates is when we buy the first Toyota Corolla and then you're taking it from your dealer to the home, suddenly you start noticing a lot of Toyotas and Corollas on the road. And anga oru Corolla, inga oru Corolla. And soon you will find too many Corollas on the road, which you never noticed until I started imagining myself to be, I'm a Corolla owner now. So now I have an intention, I have a different filter. I'm a owner of a Corolla. If it is Lexus, it gets even more, you see. And the moment I have that intention, suddenly I find many of the same brands in the road. Not because everybody thought this is the right time. Akshay Tirthi anikku ellarum car vaangala, nobody bought. These cars were always playing in the road. I did not notice it because my intention filter did not allow that to be registered inside. The brain has a filter. It will only take what it wants to take, the intention. So what I see and what I register are two different things. And that filter is not a fixed filter. It is a plastic filter. It can be modified. What modifies that filter is my intention. The reason why I just said or both is because when positive things happen, if we want to enhance our optimism and positivity, we need to start registering positive things which happen around us. As simple as that. Register the positives.
And let's count our blessings and make every blessing count. Have a great day.